April 10, 1959. Neighbors hear screams from a locked bedroom. Inside, Kalavati is dead from 44 knife wounds, her husband standing over her. He admits to the killing but claims legal insanity, forcing the court to determine his mental state behind that locked door. This case sits between two sections of the Indian Penal Code. Section 299 requires the prosecution to prove criminal intent. Section 84 allows an exception for an unsound mind, which would negate that intent. Because the law presumes every person is sane, claiming an exception creates a massive procedural conflict over who carries the burden of proof, and exactly what they must prove to win. The Supreme Court resolved this conflict with a three-step rule. First, the general burden of proof never shifts. The prosecution must prove the accused's guilt and intent with absolute certainty, beyond a reasonable doubt. Second, to trigger the insanity exception, the defense must rebut the presumption of sanity. However, they are held to a lower threshold, the prudent man standard used in civil trials. This means the defense only needs to show insanity was highly probable. They do not have to prove it with the same definitive weight required of the prosecution. Third, even if the defense fails to establish total insanity, they can still win. If their evidence simply creates a reasonable doubt regarding the defendant's intent, the prosecution's case fails. The defense's goal is to use their lower burden to fracture the prosecution's certainty of intent, rather than proving a specific medical diagnosis. To test Tucker's mind, the court applied an evidentiary algorithm. They scrutinized the circumstances immediately preceding, attending, and following the crime to isolate his mental state at the moment of the act. In the pre-crime stage, Tucker had written a letter demanding his father-in-law take his wife away because he disliked her. Furthermore, he had no prior medical history of insanity or mental health treatment. During the crime, the bedroom door was intentionally locked from the inside to ensure privacy. The presence of a weapon and the high number of wounds suggested a focused determination. Following the crime, Thakur refused to exit the room until the village headman arrived, showing an awareness of the potential consequences. Later, he gave clear, relevant answers to the police inspector's questions. Pause the video here and act as the Supreme Court. Apply the prudent man standard to these facts. Do these three columns point to a sudden loss of sanity or a planned act? The Supreme Court ruled this was a premeditated murder. The prior letter established a motive of frustration, and the locked door proved he understood the nature of his actions. Thakur's lucid post-crime behavior and tactical waiting for authority retroactively showed he had full awareness of his actions, causing his defense to fail. The court evaluates legal insanity by focusing exclusively on the crucial point of time, the exact fraction of second the offense occurred. To determine the mental state at that moment, judges ruthlessly squeeze pre-crime and post-crime actions together to expose the truth. This summary sheet outlines the entire legal framework, the shifting burdens, the loophole of reasonable doubt, and the three-part timeline for evaluation. Take a screenshot for your records. Successfully pleading insanity involves surviving a rigorous behavioral audit, where every action taken before, during, and after the event is scrutinized for signs of awareness.